Shabbos. Well, we just learned today that lockdown is going to be extended till the end of September. What a challenge. The question is, how do we see challenges? How do we look at them? Maybe we can get a beautiful hint from the beginning of this week's Torah portion. The Torah begins, Kiseitze lamolchama alevecha, when you go out to war upon your enemies. The expression is lamolchama, which means the war, not just a war, the war. What war are we talking about? So the Chassidic masters tell us that the war the Torah is talking about on a spiritual basis, on a spiritual level, is the war that each one faces and deals with regards to our challenges. Our challenges across the board, particularly our challenges with our Yetzer Hara, our evil inclination, our Nefesh HaBahamis, our animal soul. That war is what the Torah is talking about, and the Torah gives us a hint to how to be successful over that in that war. Because what the Torah says is al eivecha, upon your enemies. What does it mean upon your enemies? You go to war with your enemy. What does it mean upon your enemy? What the Torah is telling us is that you always have to have in mind a certain perspective, and if you do, you'll be successful in this war with your challenges. And that is that every challenge we have, every battle that comes our way, is only there to make us stronger. It is only there to bring out the best in us. It is only there to bring out abilities and strengths that otherwise we wouldn't know we had. Whatever circumstance you're in, remember that all negativity that is there in the world is divine, is created by God to challenge us for the purpose of revealing and actually creating a strength of character that otherwise we wouldn't even know we had. When we view our challenges from that perspective, then we know, okay, this is a new challenge. This is what God's given us. Let's see how we deal with it. This is what my challenge is today, to make me better, to make me stronger, to make me greater. The negativity isn't reality, so to speak. It's there only to challenge us, and then when we overcome it, it goes away. Yes, the Talmud tells us the Yetzer Hara is like a fly. Fly comes and buzzes and zzz, and it really drives you crazy. You push it away, it comes right back again. And again, it constantly comes back at you, which basically is because we go from one challenge to the next. That's life. We have one battle to the next, but we are given the strength and the ability to win every battle. We have to know that we are upon our enemies with the ability to succeed. And when we do, that in itself, the knowledge that we have the ability to overcome it, gives us the strength of character and the fortitude to overcome every challenge and to grow from every challenge. There's a story told of a fellow who was starting a business, selling a product. He was developing the product. He needed to raise money to invest in the product, and things weren't going well. He was having a hard time. It's been very difficult. And so he walks out of his office and sits on a bench in the street, on a bench near his office. And this is outside of an old age home, and this older fellow comes by and sits next to him, and he says, "I see you're very perturbed. What's the matter?" So he tells him, "I'm trying this business, but it's not going, and I can't raise the money, and I can't get the product out. I'm really having a hard time." So the fellow says to him, "You know what? My name is Henry Ford. Here is a check for $1 million. Don't cash it. You try to do what you can. If it doesn't work out, know that you always have a backup plan. You always have that money backing you up." The guy takes the money, takes the check, and he's really excited. And he really has another spring in his step. and he calls his friends and he convinces them about the product, and he develops the product, and then he raises enough money and he gets it to market, and lo and behold, he's successful. It works, and he's become a great success. So he goes back to the old age home to thank Henry Ford. When he comes to the old age home, he says, "Could I speak to Henry Ford?" He says, "We don't have someone like that here." "What do you mean?" There was a guy who came out, told me he's Henry Ford. He looked like this. He was this height. He spoke like this. And this is his mannerisms. This says, "Ah, you mean Jack?" Jack is delusional. Sometimes he's Henry Ford. Sometimes he's Abraham Lincoln. He's Ronald Reagan. He's a delusional fellow. But the fact that this guy had a check that he thought was worth something from who he thought was a very wealthy person gave him the fortitude to be able to overcome his battle. And that's the way we are. When we know that we are given the tools and the ability to overcome all challenges, because we are above the challenge. And what's above the challenge? We have given a divine soul, which is part of Hashem. If we have the divine soul, then that gives us the ability to overcome anything. We're beyond, we're stronger than anything. So that's one perspective. And one more point in Kiseitze Lamacham, one more point in our ability to succeed in every war. And that is, there's one more point, and that is, Alevecha, always be above your enemy, which means don't stoop down to their level. Don't use their tactics if it isn't who you are. Yes, absolutely. Let's say you have a war, you must defend yourself. Absolutely. And if you don't do what you need to defend your country, then you are being kind to the cruel and cruel to the kind. That's absolutely unacceptable. However, the means, the negativity, the hatred, that's not who we are. Even if we're fighting a proper war, we do so to defend ourselves, to secure ourselves. We don't do so, we don't stoop down to their level and with the level of hatred or viciousness or cruelty. That's not who we are. No, you are above your enemy. You don't come down. That's in the war, say, of Israel and their enemies and so on. But the same thing is true with our battle and war with our evil inclination. Don't use the terminologies, the words, the meanness, the aspects of our enemy. That's not who we are. We have to fight it. We have to win it. We have to be victorious, but we always remain higher upon our enemy. We do not lose our moral high ground. We do not minimize. We don't ruin who we are. We are in Tzelem Elokim. We have the divine image in us. Don't lose that. Always keep that going. We'll have these two ideas, that we have the Tzelem Elokim, the divine image. We're above our enemies, and therefore above also an ability to succeed. And every battle and every challenge we have, we know we will succeed, we can't succeed, and indeed that will be the case. Good Shabbos.